Calculating with Excel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate addition, subtraction, multiplication, division with your Excel. At the same time, I'm going to show you how to use percentage with your Excel spreadsheets. In the previous video, we used this particular data here, and we were able to calculate each of these cells using equal sum, the cell name minus the other cell, which we did selling price minus cost price. Now, one thing I want to say here is that let's assume that this is actually quantity price. Let's know the total price. If we actually multiply this cost price multiplied by the quantity, we want to know the total price we sold if we sold 5 quantity, and the quantity price is 550. So what I'm saying is that if one is 550 and we sold 5, how much will that be? So for example, let me just put a total cost price here. Then in the next cell, I want to put total selling price. Then in the next cell, I want to put total profits. Now, what that I can do is I let me remove this cell G. To remove this cell G, I'm going to right click. I'm going to click on delete. Since it's a column, I'm going to click on entire column. Now that deletes the column. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to adjust my cell so as to make the cell, as in what I had, the title of the cell, more visible. Now another thing you can actually do is that you can decide to insert a rule. You understand? Instead of you writing everything this way, you can just decide to write it this way. Let me remove this cost price, the price. I'll just put price below here, so that looks like total cost price. Then the same thing happens to this one. I remove the price, I come down here, that looks like total selling price. So the cell is actually not too wide. You get that now? But the cell is not too wide, so all I'm doing is to ensure that I'm able to actually manage a single cell. I don't want to go into I'm already in second page, so I don't want to use it. I don't want to go into second page. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my cell. I need to adjust some of the cell that can be adjusted so as to allow my data to fit into one single cell. I'm not able to fit into this. Okay, let me see. Selling price, I can still move the price of this down. I'm just trying to ensure that I fall into a single cell. I don't want to go into 2 pages. I think the major one is this total. Okay, now I've been able to move into a single cell, into a single page. Now next I want to do now is, okay, let me use the bottom border here, which is bottom border, which is this. Okay, now next I want to do, let me use it here as well, here as well, here as well. I'm just trying to make sure that it looks the same way the other one looks, so as not to make any difference between the new cell that I'm creating and the old cell. Now next I want to do now is to calculate the total cost price. The total cost price is going to be cost price as a multiply by the quantity. The formula is going to be equal sum, open your parenthesis, which is open brackets. Now you can click on this cell, which is the cost price, or you can write the name, which is D4. I can click on it, it will give me D4. Then I'm going to type in multiply. Multiply is not X, it's multiply. If you look at the number section on your keyboard, by your right hand side where you have your 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, now you see multiply, division, you see addition and subtraction, everything is there. So multiply by quantity, you can see that is C4. I close my bracket. Your bracket is shift 9 and shift 0 on your keyboard. So if I hit my enter key, you can see this is my total cost price. Now the same with my selling price. I'm going to say equal sum, open my parenthesis, selling price multiply by the quantity, close parenthesis. You understand? Then my profit will still be this minus this, or I can just say this multiplied by this, which will still give me my profit. So either way will still give me the same formula. So I'm going to say equal sum, since I'm doing multiplication, equal sum this multiply by this, close parenthesis. Now that gives me 250. Definitely if you subtract this from this, that gives you 250. So if you want to know that, let me delete that and say equal sum, open parenthesis, selling price minus the cost price, close parenthesis. That still gives you the same answer. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to put at the center of the page. You can see that now. The next I want to do is to use my absolute references dot here. You can see that the mouse cursor has changed. So I'm going to drag down, then click here as well, drag down, click here as well, and drag down. So I can actually say this is the total amount I spent to buy 5 Bonvita. Individual price is 550, but this is the total price I bought it. This is the selling price, and this is the profit I made on 5 Bonvita. I made 250 naira on 5 Bonvita. Now if I want to know my total profit, everything as in my total profits, I'm coming, let me put the borderline again. If I want to know my total profits, let me put total here. Now to know my total profit, I'm going to write a formula which is equals sum, open parenthesis. Now this cell here, since I want to calculate everything in this range here, this cell, I'm going to use a column, this cell. You can see everything is selected in that range. If I want to write it myself, this is I4, I'll just say I4 column, this is I23, I'll just say I23. It's still going to be the same. You can see everything is selected, close my parenthesis, enter. Now that gives me the total profit. I made a total profit of 3,899 naira 72 kobo. Now I can use my absolute reference as well to actually do for everybody here. The total quantity of things I bought is 92, and the total cost price, individual cost price, is 9,010 naira individual cost price. The total cost price of all the things I bought is 31,560. The total selling price is 35,459.72, and my own profit is 3,892. Now I've been able to calculate using range, to calculate from this range to this range. That is going to be using column, and that's why you have this column here in your formula bar column. That's going to calculate a range to a range, as in from a range to a range. Then if you want to calculate an individual cell, you just use times this. For example, let me just show you. Let me show you something. If I want to multiply, if I want to add all this together, I can add all this together. That's an example. It's not really important to this our discussion. I can add all this together individually using this formula. This cell here, which is C27, then I'll say plus D27 plus E27 plus F27 plus G27 plus H27 plus I27. Close your brackets, hit your enter key. Now what you have is 91291. Now that is from calculating individually. You can see this plus this plus this plus this plus. Now if I was calculating in a range using that range formula I used just now, equal sum, open your parenthesis, C27 column I27. You see that now? Close parenthesis, enter. It still gives me the same answer, 91291. Do you get it now? Now those are the things you can actually do with your range formula and with your manual formula. Plus this plus this, you can actually say this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this, which actually will take you a lot of time to actually calculate. Or you can just say this column to this. Now if you want to calculate anything like multiply, I've already shown you how to multiply by using the multiplication sign. Let's say you want to divide this by this. Let's say you want to divide this by this, for example. Now all I have to do is say equals sum, open parenthesis, this cell divided by this, close parenthesis. That gives me 5. Gives me my quantity. So this minus this divided by this gives me this. So if I use my absolute reference to give me all the it's a copy of, but now watch this. What if I use absolute reference to a cell that has nothing? Watch this. Let me remove all this, for example. Now watch this. To a cell that has nothing, like this cell, this is what you see. You see this error here because there is nothing in that cell. But if I put values in this cell here, and I put, okay, I'm actually calculating profits. If I put a value in this cell here, and I put a value in this cell here, since the formula is I and sorry, this is supposed to be in this cell, please pardon that. I'm going to cut this into this. So this and this is, oh my god, so pardon that, please let me do it again. Absolute reference, I'm sorry, let me do it again. Now to do that again, I'm going to click here, do my absolute reference. Now I'm going to write the formula here. Let's say, sorry, I'm going to write my value here and my value here as well. And this, so that now automatically it changes to the value. So let's say I put here, you can see. So it's when you have values that those things changes. If you don't have value, they give you this error. So this error is due to you not having any value in the cell, because this particular cell here is having a formula that is dividing I26 by F26. This I26 by F26, you understand? So that's why you're having this formula here. So if you don't have any value there, the best thing to do is to delete that particular cell, you understand? So I hope I've been able to show you how to use your absolute reference, how to calculate using addition, using division, using multiplication. And if for example you want to use percentage, you can as well put 10% here. If I want to calculate using percentage, now I can decide to say okay, equal sum, open parenthesis, let's say this, they're multiplied by this. For example, you want to calculate your tithes, so you can actually say okay, 10% of my total selling price or 10% of my profits is your choice, depending on how you want to do your tithing. Let's say 10% of my total profit. I'm just going to change this to total profit, which is going to be I4. I'm trying to change this to I4. Alright, sorry, pardon that. This is supposed to be J, and this is supposed to be I4, not H4, I4. Alright, that gives me 25. What's total profit of this will be 25. So if I calculate this down, these are the profit. These are the this is supposed to show me the value of my my tithes, but because I have no value here, so I'm going to use absolute reference to drag this one down, which brings all the 10% down, and now I can see all my values changing. Now I can calculate my total value using my total to calculate this value here. I can just drag this up to this level here. I can remove this. So this is the total tithe I'm going to pay. I hope this video has been informative, and I would like to thank you for viewing.